All right. We got Saul and then somebody from Crosby, Texas. Hold on a second. Saul!
Mitch!
What's going on, man?
All good, all good. What's happening?
Man, just living the dream.
I bet. I have a question for you. How do you collect the payments on the borrowers?
How am I collecting?
Yeah.
I mean, I just have note servicing software, and we just keep track of them. And we send out our notices, if they're ever late or whatever, we just right on time. I mean, I use a note servicing company, closely held, what I mean? It's not my note servicing company, but it's my daughter.
Right. But what I meant is when the borrowers make the payments, do they mail a check? Do they pay online? Do they pay via Cash App? Or do you offer multiple ways for them to make the payment?
Well, we offer multiple ways, but we have a thing down here called Paylease, and I don't know if it's where you're at, Paylease, and they can go into like 300 locations in the city and make their payment, and it's real time. Like, they make their payment with a check or cash, and then that wherever they make their payment enters it in the computer, and then on our computer, boom, within a few seconds, we show that they're paid. So it's called Paylease. It's like, I don't know, a couple $100 to set up, and then $25 or $30 a month, not per check, and there is a fee, but the people have to pay the $2 or $3 to make the payment at that convenient location. And then it's getting to where we really tell people that they can't come to our office and make payments. That we don't take payments at our office. They have to, if they've got a check, you need to mail it. We don't accept cash at our office. If you have cash or you want to get a receipt, because a lot of our Hispanics, they want receipts when they make their payment. They want it in their hand. So tell them, if you want that, then you got to go to one of these 200 locations right here. Any one of them, they have us on account, and you can start making your payment there, and we'll know, and they'll give you a receipt. So, because what happens when the people come in to make payments, they stop everything that's going on in the office.
Mm-hmm.
And then they want to talk. They either want to complain, or they want to talk politics, or they want to say hi to so and so, and everything just slows down to a crawl.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I hear you. The issue that I'm having right now is that I'm getting payments from the same borrower in multiple channels. Like, I have two borrowers that they pay half directly with Wells Fargo, and the other half via Cash App. And every month I'm here sitting at my desk getting monies from everywhere, but it's a really pain in the butt from the accounting perspective. So I wanted to know if you have any words of wisdom how to mitigate that situation.
In their agreement, you need to start being very exact. This is a seller finance deal, and if you do this deal, you have to make your payments. Pick one, X, Y, or Z, and this is and maybe even put in there. I haven't even thought about that, but you have to make the entire payment. You can't make partial payments or whatever. I don't know exactly, but I know that we're telling people that they have to pay at one of these 300 convenient locations around the city. We even help them find out which one's closest to them and tell them the address of where the closest one to them is.
Right. The approach that I'm taking here is to give them the option of making the payment online, and it can be done with Cash App, Venmo, or even Zelle, or they just obviously they can deposit the money in the checking account. But like, give you the perfect example. Today, I had a payment coming in for $572. The $500 came on a deposit at Wells Fargo. $72 came from Cash App. So I'm here sitting.
It is kind of a nightmare. Hopefully, you don't have too many people doing that.
Well, technically speaking, it's half of my borrowers.
Oh no!
So
I think you need to start correcting this up front in your closing, in like making them sign that they understand that this is the only place you're going to receive payment, or these are the only 3 ways I'm going to. I don't. You got to educate them up front.
It's funny because I give them 3 or 4 options so they can choose which one is better for them. Apparently, there's such a good options that they want a piece of everyone.
Maybe you could quit giving them those options until they say they can't do that one. And say, okay, well then here's one. And, don't give them the options. Just tell them which one you want.
Yeah.
And then if they don't agree to that, that's somehow difficult.
I think that might be the solution right there. The less options you give them, the more straightforward the whole payment process is.
Yeah, tell them this is the only way you can make a payment right here. And then if they have a complaint about that, say, okay, scratch that one. Can you do this one? Okay, then this is the only way you can do it.
Right. No, you're 100% absolutely right. Yeah. I guess I can do it. Mitch, thank you for that. I think I'm gonna implement that advice you just gave me. On a separate note, have you ever had a seller finance buyer that went MIA after closing and after you got down payment and after everything was done?
Yep, certainly have.
Do you mind sharing the story and what happened and how
if you don't get your payments, you just got to start foreclosure. I mean, I don't know what else what else am I supposed to do? I mean, you gave me $20,000. I never even saw you for the first payment. I don't know where you are. No one knows where you are. I just start the foreclosure process. I guess maybe they died, or I don't know, but I can't just sit here and wait. I start my foreclosure process within days of within hours of them being late. I start all the paperwork. I don't mess around at all. When they don't show up, payment doesn't show up by a certain day, I'm moving forward at the earliest moment I can. Because one is, you know as well as I do, you train these people how to pay. If you're lackadaisical in your collection efforts, then they're going to be lackadaisical in their payments. If you're Johnny on the spot and send them notices right away and everything's the way it's supposed to be, like right to the T, then that's how they learn to pay. Or they get foreclosed on.
Okay. I'm listening. Have you ever had a buyer that after closing on the property, they started complaining that the property needed more work than what they thought or what you've told, one of your salesperson told them, and they don't want to, make the mortgage payments?
Yeah, I've had that happen before. 2 things. One is, just come back in, get your money, and get the hell out of my life. Let's just call it a day. When can you be out? Because it's not worth dealing with those people. Other thing is I've had people, I was just talking about this morning with someone, one of my students, because he sold a house. And, it was clearly, as is, where is, till death do you part, till this mortgage is over. This is your house from the time you sign these papers. This is your air conditioner, your hot water heater. They understood that. Then 60 days down the road, the guy calls and says, the air conditioner went out, and we really don't think it's fair that the air conditioner could go out. It's like, how am I supposed to know when an air conditioner is going to go out? It's just unreasonable. But instead of getting an argument with them, I look at this as a golden opportunity. I send my guy out. So let me send my guy out to look at the air conditioner. I find out that it's a $300 job to fix it. I'm not going to fix the air conditioner for them because I don't work for them, and I don't want to be in the business of satisfying them about a broken air conditioner, right? What I say is, my guy says it's $300. I'm willing to cut you a check for $300 so you can get it fixed. You can use my guy or you can use whoever you want, but I'll give you the $300. If your guy's more expensive, then you need to pay the rest out of your pocket. If your guy's cheaper, you can keep the change. Okay? But I got a check over here. And so why I'm doing that is for a very clever reason. When I give them that $300 check, they have to sign a piece of paper that says, are you there?
Hello?
Are you there? Hello? What just happened? Here, is that you, Saul? Where did you go? Where is Saul? Hold on. He dropped off. I guess he's going to call right back in here. Let's give him a second. Where is he at? Here he is. Okay, I guess you
And
dropped off.
yeah,
Okay,
I'm sorry. I don't know. We got
so where did I lose you? They got this air conditioner, right? It's broken. They have the nerve to call me 60 days or 90 days or 4 months, and they want me to fix their air conditioner. I look at it as a golden opportunity. I'm not going to fix their air conditioner for them. I'm not going to send my guy to fix it. I tell them my guy says it's $300. I'm not going to order him to go fix it. I will give you the $300 and you can call him, or you can call anyone you want to. If the guy you call is more than $300, then you got to pay the rest out of your pocket. If the guy is less than $300, then you get to keep the change. But come by and pick up your check if you want it. The reason why this is a golden opportunity is when he comes by to pick up that check, I have that insurance statement on the back of that check that says if you cancel this check, you forfeit all your rights and all your protests against me forever and ever and ever. It's like when you have a car wreck and the insurance company gives you that check for the damages. If you cash that check, there's a statement on the back of that check that says, if you tender that check, all issues with this property is resolved forever. Forever. All issues on this property are resolved forever. So it's like for $300, man, I can get, and then they come in, and not only is the statement on the back of the check, I actually retype the statement on a separate piece of paper. And they have to sign it and date it, okay, before I hand them the check. And basically what that's doing is, it's like I had a dispute with them that we did a cash settlement, and they can no longer sue me for anything about that property. Anything.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, so I look at it when I see that, when someone has the nerve to show me they're an asshole, that they won't live by the agreement we made, I start to get afraid of them. And so it's worth it for me to pay $300, $400, $500, $600 to get that one statement, written by the lawyer that says, if you hammer this check, you cannot dispute me on anything about this house ever again. Anything. Because I'm doing a cash settlement with you right now.
I've never heard of. I mean, I understand the concept. I've never seen it done like that in real estate. That's actually fascinating.
I actually came up with that myself, and I never heard anyone ever do it, except for the people I taught to do it.
Well, that's interesting. Let's see what else. I have a borrower, the very first person that I did a seller finance deal to. She's always late on her payments, but she always pays within 30 days of when the mortgage is due. I've been thinking about selling the note just because I don't like the inconsistency of her payments. But then I realize every time she's late, I make another $50. So
if every one of your payers did that, you'd be a millionaire all over again.
So the question to you, Mitch, is at what point do you decide to sell a note when it comes to like a case that it's inconsistent borrower like that?
I don't. I mean, I have a professional collection department, and like they just pay an extra $50 every month. I don't care. When I decide, the ones that I don't like is the ones where I have to file foreclosure. I get all the way up to the foreclosure, and they bring in the entire balance every time. And this could take months. I'm floating, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, before, but they always come in at the last minute. At some point, if I get tired of it, I'll say, I'm going to accept this payment. You have to sign this document right here saying that the next time you're put into foreclosure, I will not accept payment. I want my problem back, because basically in real nice legalese, it says you're too big a pain in the ass to deal with, and I'm not doing it anymore. You're taking too much energy. I don't care how much you're paying me. Like, you're not worth it. And because you have the right to call a note due and payable anytime they're in default. And actually, technically, if someone doesn't make their payment on time, I mean, they're technically in default, but like certainly if they have been to foreclosure 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and right at the last minute, they always come in with all the money. I think you definitely have the right to say, next time I'm just not going to accept your money. You're late next time. I'm calling the note due.
When a borrower has been late on the payment, have you ever sent a letter from an attorney and then have the borrower pay that attorney's fees for sending that in late notice to the borrower?
Absolutely. That's basically what you do in the foreclosure process when you have to charge all the attorney's fees for all those notices that the attorney had to post for foreclosure. It's the same thing. You could do it.
But I'm assuming that you send them a notice yourself before they get a notice from the attorney, right?
But I understand what you're saying. If there's such a pain in the ass, you just start getting an attorney to charge them $100 for the letter now. I mean, you would have to check in your area if that's, I would say, default to your lawyer and see what you can do about that. And the guy ought to check it out for free, because if he can do it, he ought to be the guy that sending the letter for $100,
Oh yeah. Well, I was actually thinking something a little bit more, something that hurts them, like $250 pay of attorney fees that one time that they send them the notice, just to see if they react to it. Because on $600 a month payments, if you have to pay like 25 to 30% on that on a late notice violation, that should wake you up, I think.
Well, there's laws about how much you can charge for late fees. You just have to figure out if your state looks at that letter as superseding that late fee limit or not, and that's why you have to talk to your attorney.
Right, but not on the late fee, on the fees charged by the attorney. Right.
I'm saying I don't know if that flies or not. I don't know if it flies. I would have to talk to an attorney about that just to run it by him real quick. Say, hey, can I get you to send a letter for $100 and really put the hurt, or $250 for sending the letter, just to really put the hurt on these people and either straighten them out or get them to walk?
Right.
But I would have to call my attorney to ask that question. It's a good idea.
Right.
It's a good idea if you're sick and tired of somebody.
Right, just to see what the reaction is.
They may just pay it. I mean, some of these people. I mean, I have people that I don't mind collecting the attorney's fees and all that stuff. I mean, because I always get my money from them, and like some of them I don't want the house back. Well, the ones that I really ride with, I just don't want the house back because I've been by there and looked at it, and I thought, geez, I hope this guy keeps paying me forever because I really don't want that house back because they've made a mess of it.
Well, I do have, a little victory to share with you, and it's a situation like that, but on the reverse. I sold the property to someone. The property needed all kinds of work. They took it as is, and I learned from the insurance agent that they already started working on the property, and I think they have done already like $25,000 in upgrades.
Mhm.
So and this was that type of house that you're like, oh, if you would see it, you're like, I don't know about this one.
But now it's all better, right? Or at least it's $25,000 better.
It's $25,000 better. So they did the flooring, painting. They're this is gonna be their home, their what do you call, primary residence.
They're probably not going to walk away from that house. I find that when people pay money for a house, that's one thing. When people pay money for a house and they start to improve it, the chances of getting that house back is pretty slim. I mean, it would just have to be a life situation that they couldn't avoid, like, the breadwinner got killed in a trucking accident or something. But usually when people put a lot into a house, it's more about the sweat and the pride than it is about how much equity they have. For them, it's about sweat and pride. That's their house. They built that house. They're not walking away from it.
I hope not. But from a deal structural standpoint, it was a sweet deal. Let's see how it works out. But, they got a great deal on the payments, too. The rents in that area are like $1,000, $1,100 a month. I brought their payments down to $572.
Right, because it needed a lot of work, and then they went and did the work. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yep. And just like you say, whether it's now or 30 years from now, her payments are going to be 500 and change. So
Yeah.
I think they got a terrific deal.
Well, in 30 years from now, it'll be zero.
Oh, 29 years and 11 months.
Okay. All right.
All
Good
right,
deal,
Mitch.
man.
Nice talking to you.
Bye now.
Have a fun day.